This is Namrata Pandey.
Respected teachers and dear friends, dear students, good afternoon to each one of you. I'm so clever that sometimes I myself don't understand a single word of what I'm saying. Now, these are not my words. These are the words of the famous Irish scholar and poet, Mr. Oscar Wilde. And he said this sarcastically when he was very annoyed with somebody's communication. And I totally agree with him. Many a times I have felt the same thing. I have felt frustrated when I did not understand someone, or sometimes when I spoke something and then I realized that my audience, or with whomever I was speaking, they did not understand what I was saying. I wanted to say something, they understood something very different. I'm sure this has happened with all of you at some point in your life, and it left you frustrated. Sometimes it happens the other way also. We want to say something and then we just hold back. We are not able to say that. Something just holds us back from speaking our mind out. We are not sure how it will turn out. So this is the biggest problem of communication, as stated by George Bernard Shaw, that we feel that communication has happened, but it has not happened. It's just an illusion. And that is why another term has come into effect these days, which is called effective communication. Now I can ask all of you, what exactly do you think effective communication means? What it means is the transfer of ideas, thoughts and information to a sender, to a receiver, which is received and understood exactly as it was intended by the sender. So that is the cue, as it was intended to be understood by the sender. So if I want to say something and you understand exactly what I wanted to say, then it means I have communicated effectively with you. Now, why do I want to talk about this today in the first place? This came to my mind because the audience sitting here largely are students, and they are in that part of their life where they are building up their careers, and they are looking around, they are shaping their lives. And at this point of life, it's very, very important to understand how we speak, what we speak. Now, why is it important? I have worked in my Toastmasters journey, I have worked with adults and with children for the last 15 years. And we focus on communication and leadership skills. And what I have found is that people have wonderful ideas, very effective ideas, which, if implemented properly, can lead to, it can lead to wonderful things in life. A much better job, a much better personal relationship. But it does not happen because people are not able to communicate effectively. And because of that, I just wanted to remind all of you to be mindful when you are communicating. Now, there are two other things that go hand in hand with effective communication. The first is your confidence, and the second is the inner narrative or the stories that you tell yourself. So your communication skill, your confidence and your inner narrative, they go hand in hand to shape your personality. So now these are the things which we cannot learn in a single day. This is something which we have to practice assiduously every single day and be very mindful about it, be very aware about it. There are certain things which are very important when we think about communication. And we call it the C's of communication, the characteristics. So some of these characteristics are clarity, concreteness, completeness, cohesiveness, and being courteous. When we think about these things, what it actually means is, when we think about clarity in communication, what comes to our mind is that we should be to the point. We have to talk about what we want to talk about and leave all the fluff aside. Concrete means it should be doable. It should be genuine, it should be doable. It shouldn't be something which is just in our dreams or just in the air. There should be a concrete plan. When we think about cohesiveness in communication, what it means is that whatever information, ideas, thoughts we are passing to a different person, that should be very logically structured so that the person can understand what you are talking. The flow should be very logical. It should go from one step to the second to the third and ultimately end where we want it to end. Other than that, there's something called correct. When I say correct, what it means is the information that we are sharing is well researched, it is correct, and the language that we are speaking, that is also correct. Instead of using very difficult words, very difficult sentences, what we are supposed to do is use simple words, simple sentences, and be aware of the audience and speak accordingly. So that is called the correctness and cohesiveness. And at the end, something very important is being courteous. You can talk whatever you want, but if you don't respect the person or the audience, then it does not make sense. It will not connect them with you. So these are some of the things you should keep in mind when you are communicating with anyone. Other than this, there are certain other things which are very important during communication. The first is active listening. When you are communicating with your audience or with a person, you should listen properly to the other person. You should not be thinking of giving a response. First, listen properly, understand it, and then respond to that person. So active listening is very important. The second is the non-verbal cues. Whatever you are talking about, your eyes, your body gesture, your facial expressions, they should all complement what you are talking. You should look and speak authentically. The audience or the person talking to, whoever you're talking to, should not get the idea that, okay, she's talking to me, but it's just some flowery language. She is not doing it from the heart. So your facial expressions, your gestures, your body language, they all add to your communication. And the third thing is your emotional understanding. You have to understand the person with whom you are communicating. Because understanding the person with whom you are communicating, you will be able to mold the style of your communication. Everyone is different, and so how we communicate with different people is bound to be different. So these are some of the things that you should keep in mind when you are communicating with people. Now, coming to the advantages of effective communication. There are immense advantages if you are able to communicate effectively. Whether it is with your parents, it's with your teachers, it's with your peers, your friends. Now, what happens when you can communicate effectively with your parents? It removes the misunderstandings and the conflicts. You are able to talk to each other with respect and you feel that you are being heard. And what does this lead to? Our parents are one of the most important people in our lives. So if we can talk to them properly, you can discuss your career options, you can discuss your future with them honestly, without getting scared, without getting frustrated. So try to understand your parents and let your parents understand you. This will lead to a much better future and present as well. I think everyone sitting here must be understanding what I am talking about. Now, when it comes to your teachers and your colleagues in office, what does this lead to? You are able to understand each other better in school and in universities. You can discuss your problems. You can ask questions honestly without fear. Your teachers and your mentors, they also understand you and they know what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. They can guide you accordingly. These are some of the advantages of having an effective communication with your teachers. And what about your peers and your friends? They are one of the most important people in your life who are going to stay with you forever till you are alive. They are the community where you live, your network. So if you are able to communicate effectively with your friends, with your peers, and later on in life with your colleagues in office, it ensures that your future is in safe hands. You are able to network better. You will be getting more opportunities. You will be leading a more fulfilling life because your personal relationships will be very strong. So will be your professional relationships. So what I actually want to say is that this is one soft skill that is going to remain with you throughout your life. You can choose whichever career you want, wherever you are in your life. But if you do not know how to speak properly, it is going to land you in trouble. So be very mindful, be very aware when you are talking to people. I would just like to add one more thing in this. There are different styles in which people communicate. So basically we can say there are 4 types of communicators. The first one is direct communicators. The second one is supportive. The third is initiating. And the fourth one is analytical. When I say direct communicators, these are the people who are very focused about what they want in life. And when you are talking to them and when they are talking to you, they will tell you exactly what you want. I had a boss like that when I was working. So if you know what the other person is expecting from you, you will be prepared when you are talking to them, when you are working or when you have such a parent or such a teacher or such a friend or sibling. Now the supporting kind of people, they are mostly very calm and easygoing. They give you space and time. So with them, it is a bit different. Then we have people who are initiating, means they will initiate a conversation and then they will throw the ball in your court. And now it is up to you how you continue with that, how you work out. And the fourth one is the analytical communicators. They are the perfectionists. They want statistics, data, and they work accordingly. So now why I was talking about these 4 types of communicators? Because when you understand the person, what kind of communicator the person is, you can mold or change your style of communication. So if I know that my boss is an analytical person, whenever I go to him with some new ideas or something, I will be fully prepared with all the research in the world, with everything there in place, so that my ideas will be accepted. So that is the power of effective communication. It will be with you throughout your life, and it is something that is going to help you to have a better life in terms of that there will be less conflicts, less misunderstandings, and you will be leading a more productive life. So I leave all of you with this particular thought, that when you go out from here today, just think about it, that your power of speech is one of the best skills that you have, and it is something that you can build upon. It is something that you can learn and improve if you are mindful about it. Back to you.